Today on Sugar Spun Run, we'll be making double chocolate muffins. Hey Sugar Spun Bakers, Sam here, and today I am so excited to be sharing another carefully tested, well-researched, and perfected recipe. So every now and then I get this idea in my head that I need to improve upon a recipe on my website. I've been making these double chocolate muffins for a long time. They're honestly super delicious as is, but I felt like I could make them just a little bit better. So after a lot of testing, I did exactly that. I am really happy with how this improved version is, but I know a lot of people love the old recipe, so if you're still looking at that one, the old video is still live on YouTube, and I will make sure to share the original recipe. I'll have a link to that at the bottom of the printable recipe. That'll be over on my website. So all that being said, I really think this new version is worth a shot. It is probably my favorite muffin recipe right now, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that you'll want to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, in a large mixing bowl, we're going to combine 1 2/3 cups of all-purpose flour with 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1½ teaspoons of baking soda, and just a ½ teaspoon of salt. We'll whisk everything together until these ingredients are nicely combined. This recipe uses slightly less flour than the original. Ultimately, what this does is it ends up giving us a lighter, fluffier muffin. So here's one of the key things that I'm doing differently in today's recipe. I'm going to be blooming the cocoa powder, which really gives us a deep, rich chocolate flavor. You're going to need a ½ cup of natural unsweetened cocoa powder. Now I'm going to add this to a heat-proof dish. In this instance, I'm going to be using a large measuring cup. Next, we are going to add a ½ cup of very, very hot water. This should be boiling water or steaming hot. I don't know if you can see, but there's some steam forming on the side of my measuring cup. It's kind of going away now, but it was there, I promise. I'm gonna add this to my cocoa powder, and I'm just gonna use a whisk to whisk these two things together until it's nice and smooth. So what this is doing is, as I said, we're blooming the cocoa, giving us a really rich chocolate flavor. And you should be able to smell it right now. It smells delicious. Now I'm going to start adding the rest of my wet ingredients to this, but I wanna make sure that the mixture is not too hot. The cocoa powder should have cooled it down sufficiently. I'm just feeling the measuring cup. It's not too hot, so I'm okay to continue adding my other ingredients. We'll be adding eggs here as well, and I don't wanna end up accidentally cooking the eggs. First, we'll add a ½ cup of canola or vegetable oil, and I'll whisk this in before the eggs just in case there is any residual heat. This canola oil should help cool it down. The ingredients are going to separate, of course, because it's water and oil. That's fine. We're really just trying to make sure things are cooled down properly. Now we're going to add 2 large eggs, and I'm just going to use the bowl that I had my sugar in. Why dirty an extra dish? And I'm going to lightly beat these eggs before adding them to, see? This is why you always do it in a separate bowl. That way if you get any shell in there, it's a lot easier to fish out. But as I was saying, I'm just gonna lightly scramble the eggs with my whisk before I add them to the mixture. It's gonna make it easier for everything to be incorporated. There's one. Use one of my green eggs. These green eggs operate exactly the same as white or brown eggs that you would buy in the supermarket, just in case you're concerned that I'm using any fancy ingredients here. And I was so busy telling you guys about my green egg that I didn't lightly scramble that one. That's fine, it's not ruined, it just skipped a step. Next, we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. We're also going to add 1 cup of sour cream. Now whisk everything together until it is nicely combined, using my little baby whisk here because it's what I used for the cocoa powder, and now I feel committed to it, so we're just gonna stick with it. We wanna get that sour cream all mixed up, our eggs nicely beaten in. This would certainly be easier with a slightly larger whisk, but here we are. Okay, so once you have a nice, uniform, velvety mixture, I've got a little bit left on the side, so I want to scrape in and scrape that with my spatula. Now we are going to add this to our bowl of dry ingredients. I'm just gonna add this all in. I don't need this whisk anymore. And now we're gonna fold these ingredients together until they're about 50% combined. And you do not want to use an electric mixer for this, just use a spatula and a gentle hand. Over mixing the muffins can leave you with dense, dry muffins, which nobody wants. So once your batter is like about 50% combined, we're going to add our chocolate chips. So I have 2 cups of chocolate chips measured out here. I'm using a mix of mini and regular sized chocolate chips. So I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of them into the batter. I'm going to reserve that last ½ cup for using on top. I want to have a mix of the mini and the regular, and I've got all the large ones on the bottom. I will fold these in, and now we'll mix until everything is 100% combined. A pocket of flour there. Always scrape the sides and bottom of your bowl. Now today's recipe makes 18 muffins, so you're going to need a second muffin tin. I'm just gonna start by making 12, and we're going to fill each muffin liner about 2/3 of the way full. I always just use my ice cream scoop for this. And we'll top these with our remaining chocolate chips. Remember, you don't want to use all of them just yet because we still have 6 more muffins to make. All right, now we'll take these over to our 375° Fahrenheit preheated oven, where they're going to need to bake for about 17 to 18 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean or with a few moist crumbs. I like to let the muffins cool in their pans for about 10 minutes, and then I'll carefully remove them to a cooling rack to cool completely, or until they're just cool enough that I can finally eat them. And to remove them, I just gently pry them up with a butter knife and then move them over to the cooling rack. And that is how you make my new favorite double chocolate muffins. I really hope you guys try this out. Let me know how you like them. If you've tried the old recipe, please let me know which one you like better. I always love hearing from you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. These are great.